Imagine this. It's 2 a.m. in Madrid. The streetlights outside glow like scattered grains of salt. You're lying on your side. Diego is fast asleep next to you, when suddenly his phone buzzes. The screen lights up WhatsApp. A chat with Sophia Jim. You scroll. No explicit hints of sex, yet there are dozens of late-night voice notes, shared playlists, private jokes, a single heart emoji, and one line, "Only you understand." Higher up, you notice several messages have been deleted for everyone. There's been no touch, no skin on skin, and yet your chest feels as if someone has drawn a blade across it. Does this count as betrayal? Or, another scene, in Mexico City, Javier spends every night confiding in an AI chatbot named Alma. He tells it about childhood wounds, about anxieties he cannot share with his partner Valentina. He even pays for a monthly subscription just to hear that simple reply, "Entiendo, I understand." No hands held, no kisses exchanged. Yet he's offered the most tender parts of himself to something or someone that isn't there, or isn't even human. How do you define this? We like to think loyalty is written on the body, but perhaps what matters most is where our attention, our time, our secrets, our money, and our imagination flow. No sex has occurred, yet why do you still feel excluded, shut out of the door? Why can a single emoji, a donation to a streamer, or an inside joke feel more devastating than a drunken kiss? Is fidelity a contract of flesh, or a boundary of the mind? Are you more afraid of their lips, or of their nights? And so you begin to ask, if nothing happened can still make love curdle, then what exactly is infidelity? Is it the act, or the intent? Is it the fact, or the concealment? Is it a one-time slip, or the ongoing migration of attention? When Instagram DMs, Twitch banter, OnlyFans subscriptions, or even flirtation with an AI companion can spark jealousy, do we really still believe in a clean line? Or was the line never out there at all, but in that invisible ground you were supposed to guard together, and yet both kept eroding? Don't rush to answer. The real question isn't, does it count? But, what do you call love, and what does your partner call you? If cheating has long escaped the bedroom, we must dig its roots back up from the deeper soil of psychology and culture. Close the phone now. The next moment, we descend into that well. You feel torn, not because bodies have touched, but because love runs first on attention. Attention is a scarce resource. When Diego gives Sophia his best playlists, his longest confessions, his fastest replies, you don't feel morally offended, you feel dispossessed. Attachment theory would say, the anxious see ambiguity as threat, the avoidant see distance as freedom. What you're reacting to isn't facts, but survival-level judgments about emotional availability. From a Jungian view, this drama is the shadow at work. You fear being replaced, so you project your suppressed jealousy onto his phone. He denies his own emptiness, feeding it to Alma, the chatbot. Both of you outsource the parts of yourselves you cannot face to a third party, whether a person, a bot, or an imagined intimacy. The boundary doesn't break with one touch, it erodes through repeated avoidance. Nietzsche reminds us, values don't fall from the sky, they are forged by what you practice. When you make "who gets my first message each day" into a habit, you're rewriting fidelity itself. Schopenhauer is harsher. Desire is blind will, briefly satisfied, then hollow again. Social platforms and live streams industrialize that will feeding endless someone who understands you better. They package comparison as choice, distraction as freedom. Culture pushes too. In many Spanish-speaking societies, Catholic tradition and modern individualism wrestle. Publicly, people defend monogamy. Privately, many tolerate flirtation as proof of charm. So, nothing happened becomes a form of self-comfort, keeping up appearances while testing boundaries. Yet you know, what hollows a bond isn't a single crossing. but the long outsourcing of your truest self to chats, to algorithms, to jokes no one else shares. The real question is not, did something happen? But, who are you feeding? If the nourishment of the soul has shifted elsewhere, the body's loyalty is just delayed news. The danger is that all this unfolds silently. Next, we need to see how this quiet leakage reshapes daily life. The map has already shifted. Intimacy is like a river, siphoned off by hidden streams. First consequence: availability shrinks. Replies slow down, eyes wander. Weekend talk shifts from us to them. You develop hypervigilance. Who liked their photo? Who was online at midnight? Confirmation bias makes you see only threats. The spotlight effect turns every heart emoji into a siren. Second consequence: the brain rewires. Pings, streamer laughter, or an AI's "I understand" create dopamine loops of intermittent reinforcement. The instability itself is addictive. Meanwhile, the partner's steadiness feels boring. Slowly, intimacy shifts from building together to scoring separately, each chasing quick emotional hits outside. Third consequence: identity crumbles. Lucia in Buenos Aires tells herself it's just small tips, yet cancels weekend plans with Alvaro again. Miguel in Seville pours his late-night voice notes into an old colleague, returning to bed only to mutter, "tired." Valentina starts doubting herself. New lipstick, new workout. Endless edits of selfies not out of joy, but to survive the comparison. Everyone is outsourcing. Humor to comment threads, vulnerability to AI, dignity to Instagram. Fourth consequence: the structure loosens. Secrets breed more secrets. In-jokes appear only outsiders understand. Money leaks towards subscriptions and gifts. You think nothing happened means harmless, but concealment is itself a relational act. It trains you to split truth, to warehouse your soul. By the time physical betrayal arrives, you can't even say if it was the beginning or just the end point of a long attention drain. Society colludes. Platforms whisper, "You deserve someone who gets you better." Ads conflate self-expression with replaceability. Fidelity gets rewritten as a series of ongoing choices, yet on that sea of choices, you grow more alone. If your chest feels tight right now, it's because you sense the waterline falling. Don't patch it yet. First, we must learn how to cut the power to unplug those invisible cables. Real rebellion is not rifling through their phone, but redeeming your attention from the system. Try something counterintuitive. Stop spying, start counting. Write down where your softest 10 minutes went this week. Who got your first good morning, your last good night, your longest rant, your biggest small expense? You'll see, so-called nothing is happening every day. Valentina and Javier tried a 72-hour flow reset. Notifications off, shortcuts deleted, OnlyFans and AI subscriptions paused. Day 1, restless. Day 2, hollow. Day 3, they brought the fragility they had been outsourcing back to the dinner table. Rebellion isn't glamorous. It's redirecting water from hidden channels back to the riverbed. Next, build a 3-color boundary chart. Green, no report needed, public comments, likes. Yellow, mention later, one-on-one coffee, late-night work chats, long-term private jokes. Red, don't cross explicit sexting, hidden modes of chat, ongoing monetary gifts, confidential talks with exes. This isn't law, it's shared language. You begin to see the same risks with the same colors. Then, a repair act. Give each other your most vulnerable 10 minutes. Diego moves his nightly voice note back from Sofia to you. You return the morning's first text to him. Attention is like water first, redirect the flow, then dream of the scenery. Seneca might call it temperance, Unamuno might call it honesty, not denying temptation, but confessing your choice in its presence. Miguel and Lucia tried a no contact farewell, a brief email cutting off the harmless late-night voice note friend. Then they set a Wednesday honesty slot, 10 minutes, to confess what they most wanted to hide that week. No defense, no trial, just, I hear you. Secrets shrink under light. Don't forget the algorithm. Unfollow triggers, shut off for you feeds, redirect tipping budgets into a shared account. Keep the bedroom a low blue light zone after 11 p.m. Not Puritanism, just rewiring the reward loops toward each other. And add a shared third thing: orchestra season tickets, weekend volunteering, or learning a language together. Intimacy isn't only in long stares, but in looking outward together. When you pour your time, money, fragility, and laughter back into that shared river, the question, is it cheating, slowly transforms into something else. I'm still choosing you. Push the thought further. What, then, is loyalty? You realize the question, is it cheating if there was no sex, was aimed at the wrong witness. The body is only the newsroom. The real story happens earlier, in how you budget attention, how you handle honesty, how you draw boundaries. Cheating isn't a single act, it's a direction. Who gets the first message? Who gets the last 10 minutes? Who holds your sharpest and your softest parts? When Diego keeps polishing inside jokes with Sofia, when Javier moves his confessions to Alma, when Miguel whispers into the night to someone else, then comes back to Lucia, only with later the body is just the tardy witness. The true departure happened when our river was siphoned away, until we shrank to nothing but a weekend selfie with a filter. You hurt not from one kiss, but from the quiet shrinking of the shared community. Secrets multiplying, sharing dwindling, language splitting into codes you no longer understand. You once thought fidelity was a line drawn outside. It is actually an inner order. Honesty over appearances, choice over feeling. Commitment as a daily rhythm you can see. Nietzsche would say, values come from repetition. You are what you repeatedly do. If you repeatedly hand your presence to outside thrills, your care to private windows, you're already practicing another set of values, even if you keep insisting nothing happened. So perhaps the most powerful definition is simple. When something requires hiding, when it persistently drains your core resources, time, attention, money, emotion. When it feeds me at the expense of us, it is already cheating. Where the skin has touched is just form. The reverse is also true. When something expands the capacity of us, when it makes you more real, more open, more able to carry each other, no matter how hard, how slow, how unexciting, that is loyalty. Cut back to dawn in Madrid, streetlights like salt. Diego flips his phone screen down. You see his first message of the day is for you. In Valencia, Javier tells Valentina at the dinner table, I want to bring those 10 minutes back home. In Seville, Miguel and Lucia spend Wednesday night naming the thing they most wanted to hide, watching how quickly secrets shrink in light. They aren't saints. They've only learned how to lead the river back to its bed. So here is the answer. Not a verdict, but a mirror. If nothing happened, is it cheating? Ask instead, does this act enlarge or shrink our shared world? Does it need hiding? Does it demand the sacrifice of truth, or invite me to speak it? With those three questions, every shade of grey sharpens. And you may be surprised by the calm. You're no longer bound by a word, but returned to choice. That's where the film should cut to black. But you know, there's still one last move, just 10 seconds, yet it can change the story. Tonight, leave your first and last message for each other. Do that, and the question is no longer does it count, but I am still choosing you.